When I graduated from college, I had become aware of the fact that I didn't know too much about how the world worked, and I determined I should go work in finance as sort of a macro and microeconomics course. Through the course of my career, it was sort of a matter of time before I could return to more mission-driven, purpose-driven work. And I finally made the transition permanently about 7 years ago. I had been working in forestry investing in a mainstream commercial organization, and it reawakened my kind of California roots as a kind of passive environmentalist. I read an article, it might have been in The Economist, that talked about the catch share management systems that New Zealand pioneered in terms of its fisheries resources. And I was really intrigued by this concept, having spent my career in the capital markets. So I started researching, well, where else are they using this interesting tool called catch shares? And that's how I originally got interested. We live in a world where there is a projection of increased demand for protein of something like 70% by 2050. And so that will, of course, bring enormous stress onto ocean resources, where we have plenty of examples to see what happens when there's short-term economic value with the utilization of these resources. So I think in a lot of ways it's a dire picture. Thinking about these economic stresses on ocean resources, how do we come up with creative solutions to address that? And that's really been, I think, the mission of my work for the last 7 years. Fortunately, there's such a growing movement internationally that's very exciting around, I think, mission-driven work and the integration of purpose and human wellness values into economic activity, as opposed to thinking of them as separate activities. Investors can get really excited, I think, about 3 types of returns. One, the ability to restore fish stocks and improve the habitat and biodiversity that exists in these ecosystems is just really compelling. Secondly, I think the ability to feed more people through the restoration of those stocks is really key and important, and that's very compelling for lots of people. And then finally, and this may be the most ubiquitously important impact return to look to, is the idea of community economic development. So we know that, that about half of the world's fish catch is landed by artisanal fishers or small-scale fishermen and women, and just essential to community economic well-being, both in terms of the value of the fish catch that can be sold, as well as the value of the food supply locally that can be delivered. So I think across those 3 different categories, investors can get excited about the opportunity to support marine ecosystems. So this is really maybe ground zero for a great pioneering and innovative effort to unfold. And the work that's already been done and funded by all of the stakeholders here, including Foundation North, the government, and the iwi. The iwi's participation in the marine spatial planning effort that was put together over the last 3 years is just an amazing foundation of kind of consensus building and prioritization that now tees up a just excellent opportunity to try to advance and implement some of the solutions that were identified. So I'm really excited about all the stakeholder and leadership support and the legacy of sort of innovation that New Zealand has lent to fisheries as an opportunity to move forward with.